Callum, and welcome to all of you for the next installment of the RISE Spotlight. This one focused on smart building. Been a great series of experts and commentary so far on this nebulous concept of smart building. I'm happy to share with you today some of our research perspective from AVIXA on exactly what this opportunity is, how it pulls apart, and what it means for our integrator and end user community. So let's dig into the smart building opportunity for us. I think the challenge with this is coming up with a real, say, boots on the ground or solid definition that allows us to then size the opportunity. What it ends up being is much more nebulous, a vision statement for what smart building could look like. So the image I put up on the screen to me kind of conveys that interconnectivity between buildings, systems within buildings, people outside and within building. That's kind of what we're talking about. So you have a number of underlying technologies in the mix here. There's really two key questions, though, at the center of the definition. If you haven't read Bob Snyder's big idea post on this on ISE's website, I encourage you to do so. It really tackles these two questions in great deal, which is really what makes a building smart? How do we define that? What technologies are within it? And then what role does proAV, the channel, the integrators play in that market? It's that answer to the second question we start with to look at the market perspective for smart building and what that kind of looks like. So as we pull this apart from that market perspective, we kind of wonder, well, where does this sit? What market out there is where a smart building would lie so that we can start to size the opportunity? And the answer really is, as you look across this broad array of markets that proAV serves, from corporate, media, entertainment, residential, transportation, it's really everywhere. And that's the challenge. It's not so much a specific market unto itself. It cuts across so many. It's smart buildings, smart offices for corporate. It's residential communities, large footprint residential communities, multifamily dwellings. It's in hospitality, smart hotels, etc. So you can start to see each one of those is a large opportunity in and of itself. But let's peel this back a little bit further. The next layer down are solutions in the market. We really start with a market definition, but within that we talk about, well, what solutions are companies buying? The challenge here is smart buildings really span across many of the core solution areas within proAV. Perhaps the biggest that you may run across is infrastructure types of investments in HVAC, so energy efficiency, those kinds of things. We kind of put that within a larger security, surveillance, and life safety category of solutions. But conferencing collaboration, as you heard on the panel this morning, is where a lot of that working, accommodating remote workers, outside users, et cetera, is a big piece of that. And that's one of the largest chunks of our market. So if you took a little bit across these, you might start to realize how large an opportunity this is for our proAV. But let's look one layer below this. So within solutions, we talk about ingredient technologies. These are the specific things like displays. These are also investments in audio. So those driving technologies is that next layer. One of the biggest pieces of this is streaming media, storage, and distribution. So think of these as all the back office systems, IT related technologies that enable connectivity. That's a large chunk of the smart building story here too, where companies, especially with us working remote, schools being remote, et cetera, there's an emphasis on this build out of infrastructure where we enable the connectivity going forward. So clearly there's a lot to discuss with this topic, a lot of underlying opportunity. I would invite you to have a conversation with us, send me an email at swargo@avixa.org. And in just a moment, I'm gonna actually do a water cooler session with Bob Snyder, and we're gonna start talking more about the actual implementation of smart building and what it means for the proAV community. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in just a bit.